Did you know you can continue to attract butterflies, pollinators, all those little things that matter most into your yard and keep them there? So, how do you do that? The right plant. That's what we're going to go look at, the things that make a difference and bring those beauties and wonderful creatures into your yard. Let's go check out the plants that are the big attractors, and you can see what might work for your garden. Whatever happened to my liatris that was a stalk with buds on it? Look at that. The buds have opened. Beautiful sight. And this light lavender purplish color shows up across my yard. I can sit on my front porch with my morning coffee and just enjoy the sight. And here's the one that's being propped up by part of the dotted horsemint or monardia plant. And the dotted horsemint that has grown to the side is starting to put blooms on. There's the beginning, and there are more. And here's what the plant looked like with the buds. This is the liatris. And we've got buds getting ready to open. So my goodness, what a delight it is to be out here checking out the garden. Now, what really drew my attention was the narrowleaf ironweed. This is a volunteer plant. Notice that it may be about 2 feet, 3 feet tall, but it is not wide. So it's skinny and tall. Look at those purple blooms and lots of pollinator action going on. Check out that bee on this narrow-leaf ironweed. Here's one that will bloom. These finished blooming. This one back here is blooming, and I have a whole bunch of them. And I had some friends who said, oh, I would like that plant. So I've got the opportunity to share because I have now a bunch of these plants. They've all reseeded themselves, and this one will be blooming. This one down here fell over, and it got enough support. It did not break off. And when I looked next to it, oh my goodness, a dotted horsemint has reseeded. So seeds from last year, the mother plant is over here with the liatris, but seeds have blown, and I have this bushy plant. It's at least 3 feet wide. Beautiful addition to the back of the garden. And there are the roots that holding the plant in place. This is filling in the back of my pollinator bed very nicely, and lots of pollinator action taking place on this plant. Pollinators are burying themselves into the bloom structure, these brackets. It's interesting how they're formed, and it's easy for pollinators to get in to the various levels. And also it provides a landing pad for them. Always important when you're a busy pollinator trying to gather nectar and getting pollen brushed onto your body along the way. I've come out here to see how my blue plumbago's doing, but I'm noticing there was a hummingbird on the Texas sage next to it, and there was a yellow butterfly. That's our sulphur. This plant is a big attraction this time of year. And I have on the back, I have another butterfly, and it is not a monarch, but it is a Gulf Fritillary. And the plant that I have behind here is a passion flower vine, and that's a host plant for the Gulf Fritillary butterfly. This plant is huge, covered in light blue blooms, and it is a non-native but a Florida-friendly plant. It is not invasive, is probably at its max growth right now. I think it's at least 3 feet wide. Across from it, I have another one of the same dimensions, broader this year than high, covered with blooms. The reason I put 2 plants in is I wanted to keep the butterflies in this area as long as I could. And I wanted to attract as many butterflies and pollinators as I could. My Texas sage that I planted in between them, also considered a pollinator attractor, When you look at the bloom form, it's almost like a cup, and it is ideal for hummingbirds. Put their beak in there and see if they can get some nectar out. Blue plumbagos don't have that kind of bloom form. It's more an open face bloom. Across the circle garden, the strategy was to keep the hummingbirds, and the butterflies, and the pollinators in this area as much as possible. This native firebush is a definite hummingbird attractor. It goes through periods of having a lot of tubular shaped blooms and then putting new blooms on, so it can keep the interest of the hummingbirds. I planted a coral honeysuckle native vine, and it is really getting the job done. The hummers are coming. They do love these orangish, almost reddish tubular flowers. They're long and they're just right for hummingbirds' beak. And I also get some of the long-tongued native bees and butterflies that will come to this plant. So all in all, we're at max fly time for pollinators here in North Florida. And these plants are working to keep the pollinators fed with nectar, to provide pollen they can take back to their nests for food source for the larvae. And the way I have them set with the branches, it allows kind of a landing pad. So if a bird, like a little hummer, wants to rest, it's in a safe spot. It's protected by the overhanging branches, and it's a nice spot for them. So all in all, things are working out. If you have these plants in your garden, I'd love to hear how that's working out for you. If you're wanting to increase the number of butterflies and hummingbirds and other pollinators that you get in your yard, consider the plants that I've covered today. Talking about firebush, both the cultivar, which is the dwarf, as well as the native, coral honeysuckle, a native vine, blue plumbago, which is a non-native, Texas sage, which is native to the southwestern United States. In addition, consider adding liatris, narrowleaf ironweed, beautiful purple pollinator attractor, and dotted horsemint to your yard. As you can see, you get butterflies, pollinators, and hummingbirds. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, Garden Yay, for more gardening tips and ideas to create the garden that you love. Attract those pollinators, those hummingbirds, and all the little things that matter most. See you again soon.